Today, joining me is Michelle O'Neill. She's a co founder and senior shareholder in OW Lawyers, a well established Dallas based law firm. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Melissa.
How long has your company or the law firm been servicing the area of Dallas?
Yeah, so this is actually our 10-year anniversary. We're really excited this summer to celebrate our 10th year together.
Wow. And so now, what are some of the areas of law that the practice specializes in?
Yeah, we specialize in family law and divorce. We are expanding probably this year into civil trial litigation. It's interesting that one of the more interesting things about family law, and the thing that I love about it, is that family law actually touches pretty much every area of law besides family law. I've been doing it over 30 years, and you could probably name an area of law, and I've probably touched that area of law within a divorce case. For example, criminal law is kind of obvious. We often have criminal law that dovetails into family law. We have a couple of years ago, I had a personal injury case where we filed on behalf of our client a sexual assault tort claim where we tried a jury trial. I tried a jury trial on behalf of my client where we claimed that her husband had raped her at the end of their marriage. And we sued for damages for that. I've had a maritime case. I've had a shareholder derivative case. One of my specialties actually is I do business issues as they relate to divorces. So when people are business owners and the divorce has something to do with business litigation, that's one of my subspecialties in litigation. So because our practice is so interesting in that it affects so many areas of civil litigation, we made a decision strategically this year to kind of expand our practice into other areas of civil litigation. We're bringing in a very experienced civil litigator who happens to be my law partner's brother. So Michael Wysocki is my law partner. His brother, Jeremy Wysocki, will be joining the firm sometime this spring and bringing his expertise in business litigation and civil litigation to the firm. So we've expanded our brand. We used to just be branded as a family law firm. Now we have trademarked our firm to be OW Lawyers, or as we're known around the state, the OWL firm. And we're now just known as trial lawyers, not just family lawyers.
Yeah, because that's definitely interesting. Because even real estate, right, that falls in
Oh,
your all the
100%.
time.
Almost every case we have real estate.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, and those are the things you don't think about it. So when you do like family law, you have to really kind of be a jack of all trades. You need to know a little bit about everything.
It really is one of the last areas of law where you almost have to be a generalist, even though you're a specialist. And, family law is very specialized. It is very different than any other area of civil law. We have our own code book, we have our own rules that are a subsection of civil law within Texas law. But you do have to be a generalist. I have to have code books for business litigation, for trust and estates litigation, for real estate, for all these other areas of law, because at any one time, like right now, I'm dealing with a case with a whole lot of cryptocurrency. And so I'm learning all about cryptocurrency. So, I've had cases with issues regarding name, image, likeness. That's a real hot issue in kind of our general society right now, is how does your name, image, likeness affect you out in the real world? And so, these are all issues that kind of affect people out there in the world, and almost anything that can affect a person individually or a family can affect you in a divorce.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how did you get passionate about law and like start your journey in the legal space?
Whenever I was a child, my dad, I think, really had a desire to be a lawyer, but he never had the opportunity to go to law school. He grew up and was in college during the Vietnam War days, and didn't have a lot of money, so he had to go to work and get a job and raise me and pay for me. So I think he always had just this desire to be a lawyer. He raised me from a very young age. I remember I was a young girl, and he sat me down on the ottoman one day, and he told me, Michelle, the most important thing in the world for you as you're growing up is that the man not be the plan. And the way for the man to not be your plan is for you to get an education and to get a professional degree, not just any old degree, but a professional degree where you can get a job doing anything. And he said that a law degree is the kind of degree that you can get where you can get a job at any time with your degree. And he very much inspired me, to get that law degree, because with a law degree, you can be a lawyer, but you can also be a business person. You can do anything with a law degree. And, really what a law degree teaches you is how to think. It really changes the way that you process your way of thinking, and helps you really in any area. So he very much inspired me to want to be a lawyer. Now, my mama, on the other hand, I always say I learned everything about business from my daddy, but I learned everything about life from my mama. And 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 so my mama taught me about how to argue. And so my mama was a pistol, and she knew how to craft arguments and how to be persuasive in arguments, and when all that failed, how to just argue. And so so from a very young age, my mama taught me how to be effective in a courtroom, even though she had never been in a courtroom in her life. So I think I was just born and destined by my both of my parents to be a lawyer.
Right, and have that, like, yeah, exactly, instilled in you. And I know now you mentor young entrepreneurs, and also you're doing things with big business leaders that are over 50, people that might be going through divorces or empty nest, or and they're starting their own journeys to do something different. How are you doing that?
Yeah, I was really, I got to this place in life a few years ago where I felt like I had achieved kind of all the modicums of success that I could achieve for myself. And success is one of those things, Zig Ziglar back in the day said that success is something that you achieve for yourself. And once I had kind of gotten to that point, I looked around and I was like, okay, what's next? Like, I've done all of this for myself. What else is there? And so the step beyond success is to be significant to others. And I looked around and I said, okay, well, if I've done all of this for myself, I have achieved success for myself, then how can I start being significant to others and give back to others? So first I started mentoring young women lawyers and co-founded a group with a friend of mine that for young women lawyers who needed mentoring that I didn't get whenever I was a young woman lawyer, because back in the day, I think women were just naturally more competitive with each other. And now I think women try to be a little bit more collaborative and helpful to each other. So now our group has about 1,700 women lawyers across the state of Texas and beyond, where we try to be a place of positivity and support for each other. Then, beyond that, I have started my podcast, the Michelle O'Neill channel, on all the social platforms, where I try to give back to especially women and empower women going through life changes like divorce, empty nest, job changes, that type of thing. Because, life changes and especially divorce, they really do hit women harder. And so I try to be that place of inspiration, just coming from my experience, having dealt with thousands of divorces from the man's perspective, the women's perspective, the children's perspective, all the perspectives. I try to be that place of inspiration that, you can get through it. Other people have gone through it. And, just based on my years of life experience, lawyer experience, business experience as a business owner, here's how I see the world.
Now, I know even that, like, when all different legal landscapes are, changing and evolving. Have you seen changes in family law that are interesting, or something that you is different?
Yeah, certainly. I think the law in general evolves. I think the law practice evolves, and certainly family law evolves. Just the political landscape evolves over time, and you see those pendulums switch back and forth. I think that family law has changed from the perspective that when I first started, I think there was somewhat of a mindset that moms are the ones that only get custody, that the world should be viewed in this very narrow um, dynamic of traditional kind of roles that we played in our families. And I think over the 30 plus years that I have been practicing, I think our society's views of the traditional family roles that we played maybe 30 or 40 or 50 years ago in the family unit, I think those have evolved. Whether it's just the increase of women's roles in the workplace, the elevation of women in the workplace to increasing places of power and entrepreneurship and running the businesses and running the big corporations. And also, I think on the other side of that, I think men have also embraced the desire and the what's the word, but like the desire and the I don't know what the right word is, but
Or
but
they
one
can kind of, they can see, I know what you're saying, like you have more. Yeah.
a more active role in the family unit. So I think at home we are seeing, this more balanced level of men taking a more active role with their children than maybe they took 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, and that's embraced more at home. And women are taking a more active role maybe in the workplace, and that's more embraced outside the home. So all of those types of things that affect the family unit outside the home and inside the home, obviously affect a divorce or a family law case, that goes to court.
Yeah, that makes sense because I do know. I think I have two, friends that I know that actually the mom or the wife is actually the main breadwinner or whatever, the person who's the,
Right.
and the dad is actually the stay at home.
Yeah.
He is staying home raising the
And I
kids. And,
right,
yeah,
and I think in our society you just see that more often now, and it's that there's not a large percentage of families where that happens, but there are some, and 30, 40, 50 years ago you didn't see any of that. And so now you see some of those where the woman, is successful outside the home and the man is successful inside the home in a traditional role reversal. And so that obviously affects families. I think you also see a little bit more of an expansion of the definition of the word family. We have more uh, gay couples, LGBT families. You have more families that maybe include grandparents or some sort of other non-traditional definition of the word family. And so you see those also in family courts as well. So the expansion of what a family looks like beyond those very narrow traditional viewpoints that existed 30 or 40 years ago. I think that's what we're seeing in families now today.
it's changing. And now I know you also do some work. You're a adjunct professor at Baylor Law School, correct?
I am.
Okay, now what are some of the things that you do over there? It's like family law program over
Yeah,
there.
so a few years ago, I proposed a program to Baylor where they are the preeminent trial skills law school, in my opinion, in the country. And it's where I went to law school, and they taught me how to try a case. So I proposed to them a trial skills boot camp course. They had a similar course in criminal law, they had a similar course in business law, but they didn't have one in family law. And what I told them and what I advocated to them and what I believe is accurate is that family law is the last bastion of actual old school litigation where we actually go try cases without a whole lot of discovery or preparation or really knowing what the other side has against you. Because of the nature of family law, we can be in a trial, or what we would call a temporary orders hearing, within 2 weeks to a month of filing your case. And you're not going to know really what all the evidence is in the case in that short window of time. So, in a traditional case, business case, even a criminal case, you're going to have time for discovery, and there's going to be all this time passage where you do all this discovery and you're going to know what the other side has. Where in family law, a lot of times you're in court and you're having a hearing, and it can be kind of what we'd call a Matlock moment, where you don't necessarily know what the other side has and you may get surprised in court. So what I told Baylor was, this is like old school litigation. And these kiddo, I call them kiddos, but they're not children, these young lawyers who want to be trial lawyers. Like, family law is a great place for that, and they need training because family law has its own set of rules. So I proposed a curriculum, presented it to the curriculum committee, they approved it. So we're able to do that. It's a 1 hour credit course. We do it over a weekend where they actually get a fact scenario, a case scenario with evidence, and they present a temporary orders hearing on Saturday mornings, and on Sunday mornings they try a final trial. It's very obviously very compact, but they actually get the opportunity in a compact setting to actually try their hand at a family law case. And I really enjoy it.
That sounds cool because it gives them that, to practice those skills, because those are the things like you're saying. It's different when you're doing the book learning and all the studying, but then you get into the courtroom, and it's definitely different when it's like the heat of the moment, and you have to be on and make those decisions on the fly.
Right. No, and I think it gives them the opportunity to kind of try it out, try it on for size. They may decide they don't like family law at all. Or they may decide, like, hey, this is something I never tried before and this was really fun, and something I might be interested in doing as a practice area that I would have never thought of. And then, when they get out there in the real world and they have to go try one of those, they've had some experience at it, and we, me and the other lawyers that are experienced, that are helping, we're able to give them some feedback, like, do this, don't do this, try this out, this strategy might not be effective, why don't you try doing it this way. We're able to give them some feedback and let them try out some things.
That's definitely helpful, because I know even because I got into news, and the best experience I had was doing my internship, going along with the reporters, like, the wee hours of the morning when you start your shift, because then you know what you're in for, because it
Right.
looks glamorous, but then when you're out on the street, it's not like it's the same as what it appears sometimes. So
That's right. If all you knew about law was what you see on TV, you'd be in for a rude awakening.
definitely. But it's exciting though. I like I mean, that if I had maybe like was gonna do like a different what do you call it? My parents used to always say like a legal thing would be a good thing for you, because I was always debating and arguing. So
Me too.
but but that's great. So if people want to know more about the law firm, what's the best way to, I guess, get in contact, find out more information?
Yeah, our website is owlawyers.com.
Okay,
Super
perfect.
simple.
Now, and
owlawyers.com.
and then there's the podcast as well, and some other things too that they can check out.
Yeah, my podcast and all of my social channels are the Michelle O'Neill, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the places.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it so much.